Welcome to the show. Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody podcast, episode 40.
40.
Oh my goodness, Joy, there's a long distance and a gap between you and I. That must mean we have a special guest in the building. Special guest. How about you introduce yourself for us?
Hello, Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody podcast audience. My name is Darvell Jones, also known as Saint Levrad for my music lovers, and I am the owner of Levradigan Studios, where we get to record the brilliant show that you're enjoying right now, Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody podcast.
So about 2 years ago, Joy and I moved to the neighborhood we moved into, and we were looking for a place to record our podcast because our previous studio was hit kind of by COVID and had some flooding and whatnot. So we were looking for a new studio, and ideally we wanted one closer to home. And lo and behold, Darvell opened the studio less than a mile away from our home.
Yeah, me and my dad were like just going for a walk, like a Sunday morning walk, and I was like, studio podcast. It was like on our walk.
Oh, I never knew that was how you found
me and my dad were just like walking down Western just for like exercise, and then I was like, wait, that's a podcast. That's a studio.
And then we Googled a list of podcast studios, and then Joy had said, yeah, I saw that one. We should check it out. And then we went back and forth on the phone with you and didn't know what to expect. And 2 years later, here we are.
I didn't know if you was gonna be Irish. I didn't know what you was doing. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was the luck of the Irish.
Yeah, right in the studio.
So happy to be in a Black-owned, run and operated studio, producing our podcast with our executive producer over here with us through these last episodes over these last 2 years. So you might ask yourselves, why are we doing this? What's going on today that necessitates bringing on a special guest? And it's a topic that we've been talking long about off camera that we finally want to bring on camera, but we've never actually fully had the conversation. So you're going to see this happen real time. There's no scripts, no notes, no feelings either today. So we're about to get into it. So Joy and I do a ton of episodes about marriage, getting married, the 7-year itch, 10-year itch, 10 reasons you're single, 10 reasons you're ready to get married. And Darvell illuminated, he was like, you know what? A lot of people in my age group don't even want to get married. And we're like, okay, well, you get it. You guys are different. But then we figure, like, what better way to get into this than on the show, our 40th episode, something special for y'all. So, Darvell, how about you? Let's just ask something simple. Why do you think people in your age bracket, by and large, don't want to get married?
So I would say my age group and younger, I'm 28 to be exact, especially younger, have issues with the idea of a long-term commitment that hasn't been vetted well enough to the point where I want to buy in for a long term. To me, marriage is like that culminating thing where ideally you do it once, if it works out that way, and so you aim to have this whole idea of what we see in movies and stuff. It's a lifetime, it's your forever person and all this other stuff. And so when you hear that and think about that, it just kind of be like, yeah, I ain't trying to do all that right now. I'm trying to get focused on what I'm doing. And when I find somebody who I really am rocking with, then I can make that progress and say, okay, yeah, I'm finna propose and do everything else.
What does vetted mean? Could you elaborate? What does that mean?
I would say vetted like me personally. And I know this because I got a lot of brothers and cousins and everybody else who got the same kind of mentality where it's like, you find a chick that you like and you might be interested and think it might be something worth exploring. But then, you thinking through like, okay, wait, let me not do too much because I don't know how serious it's actually going to be because time ain't went along long enough for me to really understand who she is and how she operates.
Okay.
And so if you're thinking about, for me, marriage is a house, marriage is kids, marriage is, long-term commitment and other stuff like this to the point where I'm not finna talk to you for five months, a year, something like that. And I grew up in the church too, so in Christian faith, people believe in no sex before marriage, stuff like that. So that's a lot of times the driving force behind deciding to get married to somebody. And I'll be looking at my cousins and them that have done that and be in my head like, bro, you met her like 9 months ago. And now y'all married. And ideally you're trying to be married for a lifetime. And in my head I'm saying, will you last a lifetime? Have you even known each other long enough to actually build a real successful marriage? Because I think successful marriages are built on friendship and true relationship, not just, oh man, you know what I'm saying, I need to just hop in the bed with you. So we're gonna find a way to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, lots to unpack here.
Yeah.
Just all in what you said.
So many questions.
Yeah.
So many questions.
So to be clear, right? Let's separate. Let's designate, right? We're saying like never get some. There's always people, no matter what generation, that never want to get married, right? Then you got people who aren't in a rush to get married per se, and then I feel like you have people who got like certain goals they need to hit personally before they even want to entertain the idea of getting married. So within that, to be clear, do you want to get married? Yes, eventually one day.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Okay. So what are the things, what are the, I guess, the hurdles you have to clear before you are willing to get down to that road or path?
Well, for me, I need to hit $1 million first.
$1 million.
Yes, $1 million.
Liquid.
A million.
Liquid.
Yeah, $1 million. I'm a millionaire. I'm a young money millionaire. Got the big. Yeah, I need
$1 million liquid. Because you could take out a mortgage and your net worth could be whatever. You talking about $1 million?
Oh,
like
$1
liquid.
million.
Yeah.
$1 million somewhere
In the
where
bank?
I know in the bank.
Okay.
Like, I need $1 million.
What's so special about that number?
To me, I will be able to for sure eradicate any and all debts I have, get ahead on anything else. Now I don't got $1 million worth of that now, but I'm just saying like thinking about and projecting what debts I have, what expenses I have, milestones I want to hit with my company and other things like that, my employees, and being able to have a vetted support system to be able to be there for them and to make sure that I'm helping them build their futures and households and stuff. Like if I got $1 million, I'll be comfortable and be good. Okay, I don't have to do as much now to keep on stretching. It's like I think if I hit the $1 million threshold, I'll be in a great position to continually increase and expand at a nice increment and level statistically, and I'll be able to kind of have that upward mobility in motion to where it's like, okay, now I'm safe enough to where if I wanted to pursue marriage and building a family and other stuff like this, I have the means to do so without forfeiting what I actually am dreaming about and working towards. Because I've been working towards this for many, many years.
Okay.
You know?
What about more money, more problems?
I don't believe in that. If you aren't disciplined, money can pose problems. I believe that your family can switch up on you. You got people trying to be ops and stuff like how we see with people, trying to rob you and everything else like that.
Absolutely.
But in general, I think it all depends on the person. If you have the wisdom to understand how to use your resources, then you can make them last longer. You can make the most out of the resources and ultimately be a better steward over the resources you receive.
So if you have to have $1 million, what is the threshold your wife has to have? Like if you,
I don't have a threshold.
Or I mean, I guess like they might not have to have $1 million, but it's like, what would the characteristics like? What are your non?
What do they got? Yeah, what do they got to bring to the table?
What do they bring to the table?
See, now that's something else with me. Like, I know a lot of people try to say like, yeah, I want to stay at home wife. You know what I'm saying? She cooks, she cleans. No, like, I want a boss wife. I want a wife that like got her own. Like, I love her because she got her own. She got her own.
Who makes this song? I can't think of it.
I think that's Neo.
That's Neo with Jamie Foxx.
Right. And let's not get into Neo, but either way, like, you know, it's like I want her to be able to have her own situation. You know what I'm saying? She's young, vibrant. She's intelligent. You know, I'm degreed up. I got my bachelor's and master's and stuff. So I would love if she's educated as well. I would love if she desired to travel the world. I've been all around the world already. So I'm like, I would love for you to have a idea the way you like the idea of traveling and stuff. I also expect myself to be quite a busy individual with a lot of stuff to do, so I need you to be able to fit for red carpets and other things like that. I need, you know, like I need all this, right. I want a red for the red carpet, but I need all of that. I need you to come correct and be ready for my flow. And the truth of the matter is, like, she doesn't have to be in entertainment or what I do, but she has to be able to have that understanding that, like, the way I flow and at the level I grind, like, I put in work, and so me being readily available and just accessible at all times at the same kind of ratio is not going to be consistent. It's going to have its fluctuations where, you know, if you can flow with me, then you can be with me more often. But if not, you might have a thing where, like how truck drivers go through some stuff sometimes where like they're, I suspect that sort of thing. You know?
Well, I'm gonna hop in. Dad mode's finna kick in now. 12 years in. No, I feel like every dude, especially driven guys, like, you know, I put you and me in that same category. You're on the entrepreneurial grind. I did the corporate grind. Still doing the corporate grind, right? You set $1 million as that bar. I'll tell you what. No matter what bar you set, it will always be like higher than what you want. So even if you hit $1 million, you'll want like 1.2, or you'll need like $1 million plus. You just got to get this project off the ground, or you got to get, you got to get this show off, or you need to open your second location or do your expansion, what have you. There's always going to be something, especially when it comes to like a work goal, a life goal, that's always going to like set in front of you. So you could hit $1 million, you could mess around, hit $1 million, sign a couple contracts, and get that in 6 months. Does that necessarily mean you're ready to get married? No. Matter of fact, because you've hit that $1 million, now you're going to have different goals and perspectives. So I would just challenge you, or challenge anybody for that fact, like, hey, like, have a destination of where you want to be, because have an idea of the destination, but it's not like, matter of fact, have an idea of the journey, but the journey might not have a end destination, because it's always going to be another stop you want to make. Because if I was chasing my goals, or like I said, like, once I make this much money per year, I want to get married, and then once you get there, like, this ain't shit. Like, once I had it, like, once I make 70,000, I'm gonna be straight, and then you get there, like, man, I got stuff I really now I see how this other half is living. Now that you got your $1 million, like, oh, to do what I really need to do, I really need to have 5 million. So I would just challenge you to like think about like those goals as part of the journey. I think also too, the dope part is you get a dope chick or a dope guy, they're gonna help you. They should complement and help you get to there. Because what I'm hearing, what are you talking is like you got prenup on the table right away because you got yours.
Yeah,
But like
I contemplate the prenup stuff. I like, but that's why I think friendship relationship is a big thing. Like me, maybe if I said instead like minimum threshold of time together I would have to have with her before I propose or something, probably like 3 years. For me,
3 years from day you meet to the time you get on one knee.
Yeah.
And then another 2 before you get married, so it's a 5-year process.
It could
minimum.
be.
So,
I just want to know. I just want to be certain because like with my mom and dad, it was like one and done. Now, granted, my dad was, I don't even know if he was married prior to my mom, but he had like other females before my mom. But then when he got her, that was when it was marriage, everything. And, they've been doing the same thing with my mom. Like, she's only been married to my dad, and, he passed in 2014, but that was the whole spiel with them. And so seeing that, and also I have like an aunt and uncle who've been married 40-some years.
Yeah.
And quite a few others that were married the same way. And so to me, it's like, you find that significant other that really becomes like the gift that you got. You know what I'm saying? This gift that you found along your journey that you just get to cherish and enjoy and constantly grow and develop with, because we all have metamorphosis and transformation over time. And so to me, that's what makes marriage at that level be so significant. But I know everybody doesn't make it through one time. Sometimes people have divorced. Some people, have 2 or 3 marriages. It doesn't make it a requirement. But for me and what I imagine that if I have 3 to 5 years of time with her, building a relationship to the point where we actually are like really past the honeymoon phase of just, it's puppy dog love and stuff, but actually genuinely like, man, you're amazing. Like how I hear you all talk about one another. Like, I don't know how long you all knew each other before you got married, but I get the sense that y'all didn't like y'all weren't strangers and then just.
No, we met when we were 18, and then we got married when we were 30. So it was 12 years.
Right, literally.
We were apart. We were apart for 6 to 7 of those years, but yeah. But no, it was a build up, and it took time. But cause what's that?
I said I lost track of the not together.
Oh, I didn't. Trust me.
It was 7 years, 14 hours.
7 years, 14 hours, for long hours.
I guess my question is like, what would you prefer to do? Get $1 million on your own, or build that $1 million with somebody else? Like, what if you could? I mean, what if the person that you're meant to be with, y'all would build even more than that? But you're like, I just don't have $1 million. See you later. Like,
I mean, I'm not opposed to it. And I have no issue like the idea of that partnership. That's what it becomes ultimately. It's like marriage is partnership. I heard y'all talk about that in episodes before too. So I'm open to it. But for me, like, I can only speak to what I've experienced, what I see, and like I've seen certain people in my family and in my circles that have hopped into the bandwagon of marriage super quickly without really thinking it through, and half of them on the verge of getting divorces, and then the other half is like, man, like it's like everything that was my life has went out the window. And they ain't even got kids yet. The ability for them to be on the same page or at least have a complementary perspective on what they want the life dynamic to be like is drastically different.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm not finna negotiate on, you know what I'm saying? Like I know what I'm doing. Like, for instance, you know, I have days here where I'm here like hours. Like I look at my dog, literally my little dog, and he be looking like, where you been? Because I'm gone all day, every day it seems, and I don't even really have off days. Like even on days which close, like Sundays appointment only, right? Yeah. I'm still working on Sundays because I go to church, be at the services, run all that stuff, and then I have rehearsals after that I run. And then after I run the rehearsals, I'll typically come here, get some more editing and other stuff done. Yeah. So the days are just crazy enough to where it's like, I feel like if I was really trying to be somebody's husband right now, I'd be a bogus husband because I would be off the scene.
And I think that's building on my point. Once you hit that million, that means you're going to be editing that much more, or you're going to build out a staff. If we got our guys working out, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's just going to become more problems. That's the thing that I noticed. Because what happened, let me back up a little bit. So like understanding, like, right, you have one of the barriers or hurdles, bars that we need to clear is certain professional and financial goals, okay? Mm-hmm. The one thing I learned, that we learned, our generation, like we had a full-on financial housing market crisis back when we were in our mid to late 20s. So everybody got stymied. The economy stopped. I sat in the same job for 4 years without getting a penny more, not a raise. There were no jobs. Matter of fact, I was lucky to have a job. I know plenty of people who unfortunately, you know, were part of a downsize and then never were able to get back into the field. They made complete pivots. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, like if people have gaps on their resumes between like 2007 and 2010, it's like no judgment because it was that tough. So a lot of those goals got set back. The irony is, I think I proposed in 2010, like during all of that. So it's like some of the goals and places I thought 2011. I bought the ring in 2000. We're working on it in 2010. I actually got out of knee in 2011 because if I like for me, I let the goals I had in my head, it was like this X, Y, and Z. It would have been another 5 years. But once I knew, I guess once she had been properly vetted.
We doing a background check when you doing fingerprint.
We had hit that time frame, but I think that's dope to have them goals. I read a lot too that a lot of people say it's talking about they don't see the value in getting married. Like, what's the, you know, even if you got somebody that you ride with, you might even live together, you might even share bills or credit cards together, but they don't see the value in getting married. What's your take on that?
I think marriage is super valuable, but I think it's valuable. It has that contingency. Like, it's valuable when you find that person that offers the ultimate value to you. Yeah. Like I got a homie right now that I know. We was just having a conversation, and an older guy was asking, like, "Yeah, man, don't you want to get married to start a family?" He's like, "No, I want to get married." You know what I'm saying? What I need to pay for? If we together, we together. And I've heard people that's older too have that same kind of mentality. Like, I don't need like this formal certificate of marriage license to denote my loyalty or my connection to my significant other. Like, we got the connection. We both understand what it is. At that point, it's like it don't need to be understood by anybody else. Like, they understand and they have this agreement.
It's
insurance. You paying 2 insurance premiums. You know, this country is set up for you to be married.
Like, you need to get, like, it's like just the legality alone, insurance, medical bills, bank accounts, like
all of that stuff.
All that, like, you don't, when you're not married, like, you can't get that stuff. Like, I don't know how to describe. I think it's mainly the insurance.
No, like, real talk. When we found out we were getting married, and I don't know if we were in a session together, but David Locks, R.I.P., my best friend Josh Locks, his dad, David Locks, sat down with us and looked me straight in the eye. Hey, Coley, you know, you're about to get married. Congratulations. You know, just so you know, love don't got nothing to do with this. This is nothing but a business deal. And when you saw, like, you know, kind of, he went from being your friend's dad to like a straight G. I'm like, whoa, because he was a lawyer. And he was like breaking it down. This is nothing but a business deal. He was like, this just makes it easier for you to get access to each other's money in case one of you dies suddenly. He was like, most of the money I make, it was 2 ways. One, people who didn't have proper wills in place, proper estate planning. And then at the time, it was gay couples who couldn't legally wed. So you had people who'd been together 30 years. But all of a sudden, like, your name ain't on the deed on the house, so now you got to clear. Or somebody's sister had access, right? So, which should be a whole nother show topic we got to get into one day. But the idea of marriage, it's a business deal. So it's like, why do I need that piece of paper? It's to, like, solidify business. Same reason, like, if we record anything with you, I don't think we have a written agreement. We've been doing it, but we hear. But it's like, you got
have a formal agreement.
But you got paper with your landlord, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, to make sure, once you get as you get this popping more and more, the landlord see this, like, oh, I could charge this for rent. I could do this.
Right, yeah.
You have an agreement that don't just allow them to do it. So that's why that's the benefit of it. Because it's
like your power of attorney.
It's your power, all of that stuff. Medical decisions. You get hit by a bus all of a sudden, somebody needs to make a decision. It's them. So and I'm not saying, I'm talking to you like like I'm somebody's pops over here.
No, but I get what
like when he broke it down, it's a business deal, and then especially with us black folks, like, unfortunately we've had to bury people without this stuff. We got friends who are going through that. The dad, never, was with somebody. Yeah, I have an aunt. She was with this guy for 30 years, but he never divorced his first wife, and he died. He got into an unfortunate accident. It was a multi-million-dollar settlement, and this woman. It's not even about what she should have been entitled to. This woman was like, it was like 2 years. He was like paralyzed in the hospital. You know what I'm saying?
Everything.
And all of that.
Money went to the ex-wife.
Legally.
Well, like the unofficial ex-wife.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the ex-wife in the eyes of the law. It don't matter because you was there 30 years. So that's why that paper mattered, y'all.
Yeah,
just to let y'all know.
The person up for success. If you love them that much, I feel like you should set them up for success in the case of your passing.
And then on top of it too, I think it's funny.
No, that's not funny, but I get what you said.
No, when he said it just makes it easier for her to get your money. Because here's the tripped out part. When I looked at my bank account, I'd opened one of those junior saver accounts when I was like in 4th or 5th grade on a field trip. You know who was my next of kin? My sister. Because when I was 9 years old, who else did I have? I was put my sister, who was, and that was still like my next of kin. Up until I joined, I had no idea until you get there. Once you start digging through that stuff, so had I not signed it over, with Joy being my spouse, she would have had claim on it, but my sister would have also had claim, so that would have just made things more difficult.
Right.
I think the other thing too, I was thinking about. I remember when I told, and this is in a corporate setting and a lot of work settings, when I first got engaged. It sounds weird. People took me more seriously because it showed that I was growing up and I was maturing and I can make a commitment to something. And I felt like professionally, like, you're taken differently when you have a spouse or you have a wife. It's something about, like, even you look at the NFL, like the NFL of all the major sport leagues, like statistically, they get married the youngest. Those guys get married 22, 23. A lot of them deal with like serious injuries and they like when they're in college and they need people to take care of them. And a lot of times that's why they with that same one through and through. So, but it's just something about being married shows like your ability to make a commitment and bring a level of stability. Now, whether you actually do or not, and you on some bullshit, it's another thing. But like, if you look it up, they say like, society expects you to be married. If you're going to be a vice president or be a boss, that you're going to have like that wife and that stability holding you down. So they know you had that. So that's just another thing for y'all cats when y'all moving out there. Fair or unfair, there's a perception that you're stable and that you're not, and that you are capable of being married and showing love and being like committed to something.
I think people look at you funny if you're like a certain age and not married too. Like, no matter how much like you might be like, I'm independent and stuff, I feel like people still have that stigma. Maybe it'll change, with time. But if you're thinking about it too, it's like that's the one thing even with sports that like when the dudes mess up with their wives, like people be losing their jobs over that. Yeah. Like if it wasn't something that was like, I guess valued, I feel like sports teams wouldn't be like, people be getting kicked off teams. It's like you lose your job off of like cheating, affairs. Like people be losing their whole reputation off that. So it has to have some type of value.
So you were making a point about commitment and kind of me first, self-centered.
I think a lot of people my age and younger, and we might have some of them in that age range helping us record the episode right now. But nonetheless, I believe a lot of us are more self-centered. Some are self-centered to like the point where it's just like they don't care about nothing else and nobody else but themselves. And then there's some people that are self-centered where it's like I'm focused on what I'm focused on, and anything else that's a distraction from that can get the back burner. And that's how I am. Like I'm focused on what I'm focused on right now, and that's just all that matters. And so I don't feel bad about it because I'm not depriving. The only person that's getting deprived right now is my dog Rocco at the crib, who probably sitting here now saying, like I be feeling bad. I had days where I literally forget to feed him too. Like I forget that. Like
don't let these white people hear that.
Like, have you ever seen the movie Meteor Man?
No.
Oh,
you know he did it. This generation is different, Joy.
The dog. Okay, I gotta tell you this story. Basically, this movie.
It's Robert Townsend. It's a star.
You know
Robert Townsend, Sinbad's in it. Eddie Griffin, Bill Cosby, Marley Gibbs, James Earl Jones, Chris Tucker.
Anyways, he gets hit with the meteor. He gets superpowers. But one of the superpowers is he can like hear his dog talk. So when the dog talks, so he'll be asleep, and then the dog will be barking, but it's like talking in English, but it's like dog English. So they be like, time, food now. And it's like super funny.
Yeah, but that's definitely right.
Bell will never know.
Right, but it's like I think about that. So my mom and brothers be looking out for him when I be off the grid. But it's like I take that into account, and so I feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's like, you know, I got people looking out for Rocco. He'll be okay. But it's like you can't have somebody looking out for your wife. You can't really have somebody looking out for your kids all the time to that extent to where it's like, are you even playing your role or serving your purpose at this moment? Like,
but then to your points earlier, then how do you set it up where it can be that way?
Yeah, how do you get the balance?
If you on that grind for $1 million.
See? Because to me, once you're at a certain boss level, you can be boss to the extent where, okay, y'all do this. Send me the notes. You know what I'm saying? Send me the notes and everything else. I'll be on the, up and up doing my thing. We'll have our meetings. We do our other stuff. I disseminate. I delegate. And then from there, I have some time to myself. I take my little vacation. All right, let's do the vacation. Take the pictures, do the videos, everything else like that. Okay, I got to go back into my little silo for a minute. Okay. But I'll be back good. If you need something, call me. Because at the end of the day, being the boss, I got to be in all the meetings, stuff like that. But I can say, hey, y'all continue this. I'll be right back.
I love it.
I watch a lot of movies where I see that happen now.
I'm about to tell you the arrogance of youth, man. Let me tell you something.
Every movies are scripted.
Yeah. Every business owner that has a level of success are putting in 15-hour days. Everyone, whether it's restaurant, fashion, media. They all putting in 15 hours a day to be the boss because you have to be able to do everybody's job. And if somebody don't show up, my guy on the restaurant, somebody not back there, he back there on the walk trying to make some orange chicken, But not saying you can't get to that level, but nobody's gonna do it like you. So again, I'm a challenge y'all, and I'm not talking to you per se, but I'm gonna challenge everybody. Like, listen, set a goal, but if you meet that special one, don't let her get away. We just did a 3-part series about building and burning bridges, and you can build and burn a bridge romantically if you're not doing the proper stuff along the way, because you can meet somebody, and if you find the right man or woman, they're gonna be excited to go on that journey with you,
and they might help you.
And they're gonna help you. They're not. It's no might. They're gonna help you, even if they just put some water in the dog bowl for you. That person,
Rocco,
right? They gonna help you.
Thank you.
Or they, might be in the. You know what I'm saying? That person, I think, should add some level, a level of incremental value to whatever you trying to do. That's what I.
What I say. Another aside is that I need to hit my million, but she also need to be able to sing.
Oh wow! Now we're just.
She got to be able to sing. She ain't got to be Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston, but she got to be able to sing at least as good as me.
Wait, what, you gonna hit a song? How you sing?
Me. But never say I'm a singer. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, all that stuff. So I need her to be able to sing.
Fair.
So if I'm writing a song and doing something, I need harmonies. Like I can sing all my vocal parts. I'm like how Marvin Gaye sang all his background parts. Like I do that all the time in my music. But every once in a while, you do want that female timbre, voice, and register, so I'm gonna need her to sing. So I'm a geek with the singing too, so I might have a day where I just want to have a whole little musical in the crib, and I just need you to be able to.
So you want an artist,
harmonize.
so you narrowing your universe. Yeah. That means she might be on the road singing then.
Yeah.
Well, she ain't got to be an artist. She just got to be able to sing.
Wait. So wait. So you want
her to? I'm sorry. I'll let you run the list, Joy. So I was doing the math.
Wait. Okay. So she. What are the other? I want to hear the other things on the list. So
she got to sing.
What about top 5, or what's the top 10 qualities?
I heard sing. She has to look good on the red carpet.
Look good on the red carpet.
She has to be. No, you have a flexible schedule, so independent.
Yeah, and intelligent.
Intelligent. Okay.
Intelligent.
That's 4 right there.
She has to be able to cook. Cause I can't. I'm not good at cooking. Like I've been trying.
Well, she just knows how to feed you. She doesn't have to know how to cook the food.
Well, I'm gonna have a chef too, so I guess she could be all right. But she needs to know how to tell the chef what we need to eat.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, there you
some
go.
pointers of feedback.
Okay.
So that's that. But that was 5 things, I think, right?
Yeah.
I was saying maybe you should do 10.
You said a very narrow universe.
Yeah, I need a little more.
You need a smart woman that can sing, that looks good on the red carpet, that can cook. That she got to be professional or successful.
What about her character?
Oh, she got to be
that she got to be in
like
church.
Extroverted like me. Yes, I prefer.
She gonna be in the church Sunday until what time you get out? 7, 8 p.m.
No, not 7 to 8. I'm there from like 10 to about 3:30 on average. So being okay with that. But that's on Sunday.
She would have to be to church with you pretty much. She would have to go to church with you if you're doing that.
Yeah, she had to go.
Yeah.
She ain't got to be there as early as me though.
Yeah, but she still should she shouldn't be like at home while
So are you gonna meet her? Is there somebody at the church you want to say something to while we here? Is that what we hearing?
No, not that I've seen just
not
yet.
Not this hour.
Not at this time.
But yeah, that and I think really the qualities like my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like I think my mom is very humorous. She's super generous. Now, to the fault, because sometimes I think she's way too nice and generous, more so than what she needs to be. But I think character traits like my mother would be great, too. Because a lot of people just think my mom's just a great person, well-respected, hard worker. She's been doing her thing. Like, she's 36 years straight in her company where she's worked.
Wow.
And I was like that. So those kind of attributes mean a lot to me.
So in this kind of me first generation, do you think that could ever be turned off? So if it's like kind of this me first or me centered, call it, generation of people who are trying to make sure, they are singly focused on making sure they got to get where they need to get. Can that ever be turned off to be an effective marital partner or even parent on top of that?
I think you have to have like a shift mentally at some point to be able to satisfactorily show up for your spouse and for your children. But I think it's always like, for me, I think of it as like, I say a million, but that's a part of like a whole list of just dreams and visions I've been working towards since I was like kid. I mean, I've been having the same vision since I was like 4 or 5. So everything I'm doing now, I've said I wanted to do. And I've accomplished, and so I see that as evidence of me saying that. Clearly, somehow on this trajectory and journey I've been on, I've been constantly doing this, and with my faith backing me up, it's like, I'm going to make this happen. And I want to make sure I walk into marriage, walk into parenthood.
I know somebody just called.
Oh, somebody called you.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll talk to them later.
Yeah, Bella, don't come back in here, okay?
Even
until
if
we
somebody
finish.
calls Mama,
You can just enjoy the phone, princess. Okay, close the door all the way.
She was trying to help.
I understand.
Yeah, she was trying to be helpful.
Yeah. No, that's all good. We all good. So I personally feel like, for me, it's about fulfillment. Like, I sense people that turn into horrible parents and people that turn into horrible spouses, all of a sudden or from the jump, tend to be people that are unfulfilled. And so you're dissatisfied with your life and what it turned out to be. So now you redirect that negative energy and that subconscious resentment towards others that you are meant to now have to add to your life. So if my life is a pie, and okay, now I got this. First, the pie was always me and my dreams and my goals. And then got got a baby mama now. She ain't giving up the baby. I got to stick with it, do it or whatever. Now I got to add that to the pie. Okay. Oh, wow. Having the kids got her.
Would that cut out of the pie or would that add to the pie?
Like cut out of it.
Oh, okay.
And so the pie gets cut into, and that the whole time I realized that, okay, we really don't get along. I really don't even want to be with you. Like, it just kind of happened. Circumstances what it is, and I just got to deal with it. Yeah. And so I got to deal with you who I didn't really want at that level. It's like I wanted you for a moment. I didn't want you for forever.
Yeah.
But when you become a parent, it is forever if you're blessed to live the whole life of your child. You know what I'm saying? Your child outlive you or whatever. And so that turns into a thing of, well, I gave up a slice at a moment where I kind of was ready for it because I went in the bedroom. I knew what I wanted to do. But did I really know that I wanted that full slice of my journey and my existence cut out? And so if I'm a person that didn't want the kid and it happened surprisingly, and that's the circumstance. And I literally had a friend of mine who literally had a situation where him and his girlfriend broke up. He started messing with this other chick. They was messing around a couple of months. She ended up getting pregnant with twins. And she literally was about to keep the babies. And they only knew each other like 5 months. And I was in my head like, bro, I don't even be trying to be that, but I hope that she just let you off the hook or something because this is crazy. Y'all don't even know each other well enough to even build towards something like that. And it was twins, like for real.
Or if you even got the same parental styles and ambition, you know?
Yeah, or values.
And it was an age difference too. Like she was about 10 years older than him.
Oh, wow. So what ended up happening now? I got to know.
So she ended up getting rid of the baby, and then they fell out and everything, and that it's a done deal. Oh. And so it was crazy because he was torn because he didn't know if he really didn't want that to occur, but he's just like constantly thinking to himself like, I ain't ready. This like I didn't expect this, and he still was in love with his prior girlfriend who he was with at the time. And so I think it's always that kind of stuff going on. And so if my pie is this and a kid and a spouse turns into pretty much half the pie, if not the whole pie, how am I ever going to be able to not have resentment or something if I'm going to feel unfulfilled? So for me, fulfillment is big and key.
So if someone cuts out of your pie, how do you ever get those pieces of pie back? Or
to me, you at that point are willing to give it up. It's like a give and a take. So equivalent exchange, it's like, okay, because I'm the one, like most times, and I don't even know if it's sexist to say, but we propose. The men propose. So it's like, if I'm proposing, at that point, you would hope in my mind and my mentality is like, okay, you're now a piece of my life that I need to capture and like be culminated in this version of us having marital bliss and da-da-da. And so at that point, you pretty much give up your slice of whatever that could occupy. It might be 30% out of 40, whatever it is in your mind of whatever that chunk is, but you give it up to offer because you're ready for more. Yeah. And that's how it goes. And so to me, that's how I look at it and why it's going to be easy for me to shift, because once I know I've got that fulfillment, I've established and got to where I'm not going to be selfish as a spouse and selfish as a parent. Yeah. Motivated by my own things solely and not be considerate and really driven by the needs of those who I care most about, then I will be able to do that exchange.
That's fair.
It's crazy. I agree with you because like going into marriage, you don't. I read a lot that people don't want to get married just because of the expense, right? And that's just the wedding. Actual marriage itself isn't expensive per se, depending on like each year's situations. Mm-hmm. In some ways, it could be more financially beneficial, especially come tax season if you do your stuff right, to be married. But I think like a lot of the customs that you have, like when you. Once upon a time, like in the 40s, 50s, 60s, you could live off of one income. Yeah. Like houses were like $30,000, right? Same houses that we paying, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 for. Those were $30,000, $40,000 houses back then, right? So you could live off of one income back in the day. So like the role, I guess that women or the wives were relegated to was relatively simple. You needed somebody who could like fulfill that. I think the financial pressures of today versus then make things just like a lot tougher. Like,
super significant.
100%. I think also, how do I say this the right way? I think a lot of times too, when you get married, I think, and it's never shown in TV shows, or it is to some extent, like the amount that the families now mingle together, because you marrying her, but you marrying that whole family.
Yeah.
You're marrying him, but now you're marrying the problem. So that could be a good thing, or you taking on those family problems. So the problems that were there before, now you in a mix with that. And I think that's a lot of things where I think people are seeing this stuff play out, and so I kind of empathize in some ways with like being like, yeah, I'm gonna wait this one out. I'm gonna see what's what, or let them figure whatever out.
I think now too, with you guys' generation, like you see more. Like all we pretty much had was just like rom-coms and stuff like that. Like no, but you're like you could watch somebody's whole life like played out on social media, or like what they're putting on social media is like fake. And this is really how their life is. And I feel like there's more ways for someone to become like disenchanted with the whole like concept of it. And it's not as much like positive examples. Cause to me, even I know you type like black love and all that. And like some of the stuff is a little sickening in a way. Like really, I mean, I'm just for real. It's just like, it's not really like that. That stuff is scripted. You have to, even just doing our podcast, we have to think about it. Yeah. You don't just, that stuff doesn't just happen the way they make it out like it does. And I don't know. To me, more when I see couples online, I think they might be more in trouble. Like when they're like posting all the time and that seems like they might, I just think like, what do y'all do outside of this? Like, what do y'all talk about? Like how... It just don't. I don't know if people are connecting like that, and I don't know if that's another issue. But just like connection seems off.
I feel like the curtain has been pulled back in a lot of ways, right? Between you take reality TV, right, and so what that's done is encourage people to share their life, whether you are on a reality TV show or just on social media. So like the norm now is pulling back the curtain. Like back in the day, like people call out cheating spouses, right? Like your granddad cheated on your grandma for years, never knew about it, or she just dealt with it, or you straight got aunts and uncles. Like, wait a minute, y'all the same age, but y'all got different. Y'all got different dads or different moms, but y'all brother and sister, same age, right? So I feel like the curtain on a lot of that stuff is pulled back, and so I think some of the taboo-ness is like just out there now, right? I think the modern acceptance of like gay couples, right? That's kind of like people feel like, well, I don't got to get married, or I don't have to like play this charade and act like I'm into her or into him because I really want this over here, right? So I think that's kind of pivoted things a little bit, and I can see why this generation feels they have time and the ability to like kind of really put themselves first before they commit to all of this, because they've seen the outcome, but they've also seen like the warning signs that come with it, right? All the stuff that was just taboo or fairy tale that you just never saw.
I think it's too like you could be, I think there's a little more acceptance just like in general. So you're not as pressured to like fulfill the norm. Like even when I was coming up, like people were like, when are you getting married? When are you like, it's like, it was more, it
was kind of like
pressure to do stuff. Whereas now I feel like, to me, the generations after us, y'all seem like with each generation, you can do what you want though. Yeah. So that's like a gift. It's like, if you're judging or pressuring somebody, like that person gets like judged now. Whereas before it was like, that was the norm. Like, I just feel like
it was a charted path, right? Everything had a predetermined, instead of just having a journey where like you really don't know where it's going to start or where it's going to end. It was a predestined, the journey. I mean, I'm sorry. It was, your destination was predetermined. You're going to go to school and you're going to get a job and you're going to find a girl. You're going to get married with 2 kids and a dog, whatever that was.
Brady Bunch, Cosby shows.
Yeah. And now it's like, all right, now you're going to go to college. So now you're going to have more means and you're going to have more ends in your way. So now you definitely going to end up with a beautiful chick that, like I did, that you're going to meet, on campus. And, it's okay. You're going to be a little bit older, but you can afford all the stuff for your kids now that we couldn't do, so you're gonna be fine. I feel this generation has seen like the whole thing of like, I don't need to go on this, I don't need to follow this path. I can just go on my own journey, and wherever I go along the way, that's cool.
Yeah. And I would just kind of end on the thought that like, once again, for me, and I think a lot of other people, whether they call it or not, it's really about the fulfillment. And if you don't find yourself feeling fulfilled or feeling like you accomplished what you really hardly wanted to do, then the prospects of growing and having room to grow with somebody else going to be meaningless. Because I'm like, where are we growing to? It's like I couldn't even get to where I was trying to grow to originally. So now, are you really going to be the difference that allowed me to get to where I'm trying to get to? And so that could be like the rebuttal that someone might have for.
But someone could change. What about like their potential? What about?
Oh yeah, I think like that episode y'all had, like what's more important?
Barack is you Michelle, that one?
Yeah.
Because I mean, at the same time, like not everything's perfect. Like even if you're with that person for 5 years, you'd be like, man, this is going great. I saw that's J. Cole who had that video. He like the rapper, like dude had that video. Like, oh, you find someone and y'all are together. And you're like, this is perfect. Like every day. Like, I don't want this to end. This is the person for me. And then you get married, and then, like, stuff happens, and it's, like, not the person, that same person. And then you have to kind of, like, fall in love with that person again, because whatever situation you're in that beginning phases, that's what changes. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like it's not going to always just be, like, that perfect pie. Like, it's going to – the flavor of the pie might change. Like, it might – the type, like people be changing. Yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, so it's like I don't know. That's why I kind of asked you. I know you said your list, but it's like, what about the character? Because
character is big.
Yeah, I think that makes a difference.
It can't just be the superficial stuff. But that's the thing. Like people hear like, what you waiting for marriage? If I say the first thing is $1 million, they think it's my whole driving force of the marriage thing is a superficial type thing. It's like no, that's just the prominent thing that's forefront of my mind right now. But all the other stuff I mentioned, definitely.
You said $1 million. I just heard professional goal, right? Whatever. Exactly, that's what I heard. I didn't like less. You could have said $10 million. I still would have heard professional goal. Exactly, so I think I think the irony is, I think no matter what, I think the more time progresses, I think the idea of being set as an individual and walking in, the idea of two becoming one. I think we're getting married older and older. That's just statistically true. Mm-hmm. We all want to be more. You're going to be more set in your ways. So I think it's going to, you're going to be able to live a more fruitful life being married. But I think it's just going to be more challenging for those two characters merging and becoming the same. Because
you're not supposed to become the same.
Not the same, but like when I say like the example, two become one, or like those 5 years of bliss, like like stuff changes, and I think it's going to be harder to change people the older you get, the more you get set in your ways. If Darvell has worked to get to his $1 million, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard pressed for this woman that can sing, cook, look good on the red carpet to change him to do something other way. But like, you know what, Darvell, we'll go to church. If I need you to go to this church over here, she got to go to your church, or can she go to whatever church?
My church.
Exactly. You done set in a very narrow field. So,
my church.
But ladies, Darvell, Darvell Joy, we are at about time. So we like to end each episode with a little segment called "Some Things We Wish We Would Have Knew." Joy, I'm gonna let you kick it off.
Well, I don't have one prepared, but I guess I wish I would have known that guys have these goals in their head. You're saying $1 million. I feel like I guess maybe Coley had a goal too, but I don't think as women we think of that, or that maybe I should wait this out, or maybe we don't think to ask those questions like, what do you have a goal prior to getting married? Like, I feel like that's something somebody should like ask you, because someone might be like, especially if you're talking about these church girls. They ain't gonna. You're gonna have to put that one out on the table on the first date or something. But I think it's important to know, like, it's okay for you as males to have a goal, just like we have goals. But I think primarily, I just think the level of your goal, whoever you're trying to get with, it should match. Like, whatever your non-negotiable is, like, you should fulfill that non-negotiable, and then vice versa. So, I don't know. I just wish I would have known how much thought I feel like you guys as men put into it. I think that society has taught a lot of women to take that part for granted, that you just need us and we're going to, like, help your lives so much, which we do. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of lot of thought that y'all are putting into it. To it. Yeah, a lot of So like, don't take it for granted almost. So that's what I would say.
After hearing your thing, Joy, things I wish I would have known. I wish you would have known. I wish I would have known. Like, I guess I assumed that women had like same professional, personal goals, just like the way men do. And I know a lot do, but I think they have those goals, but I don't think marriage is contingent on that. I feel like a woman will make it work and they can still get to their goal. They feel like the man is going to be additive to the process. I feel like guys feel we need to be this complete package before we step to a woman. I feel like I wish I would have known that we didn't have to have it all figured out. Matter of fact, she wants to help you figure it out, and she should be able to help you figure some of the stuff out, because the longer you wait, the more you'll be set in your ways. So I wish I would have just known that.
It's like a different perspective we can offer to each other. Like, it's going to be a perspective that Coley has that I'll just be like, I never would have thought of it like that, or like vice versa. But I know the infamous like TikTok, not saying it's true, but you know how people be on TikTok and the dude was like, you guys out here need to get rid of the girl that's in your head because she'll never exist because she's perfect and no one is. So whatever like you have in your head, that person like never, ever, ever will exist. So you don't want to miss out on somebody. So that, just do have to say that.
That's pretty wise. I haven't seen that TikTok, but that's pretty wise. Okay, things I wish I would have known. It's funny to say this because I've heard so many of these over the past 2 years as they've stated. I guess for me, things I wish I would have known is just that, you know, sometimes me articulating my prerequisites and my laundry list of things that I'm hoping for and aiming for sets me up to not think as thoughtfully as I could on what actually is that motivation factor for me for marital bliss to come in the future, and like how I can set myself up to not be absolute and say, okay, it's $1 million, and then, you know, if for some reason the $1 million takes longer, that I completely veto the idea of prospects of really growing and blossoming with someone, or making it seem like that, like there is no way for me to have a pathway towards that with the luxury of a spouse and a helpmate. Like there is room there, and I don't always acknowledge it, us talk about it, but this chat today was very helpful. That can, you know, at least have me be a little bit more open to it now, to consider like, okay, that probably is something I need to always keep in the back of my mind. Maybe. So if you find one and it seemed like this could be something, not, you know, bowing out or offing it because you're still on your own path.
You might have $500,000 in your account, and then you just keep getting to $1 million.
That path to $1 million might just be that much faster with her.
Yeah, it'll just be like that once she comes along.
Well, Joy, we got one to open her mind just a little bit. He's still gonna wait. Make no mistake.
I don't know.
He's still gonna wait. I said just a little bit. He said, "Well, yeah." When I hear, I said it is a long list, but I'm not gonna change it. Yeah.
I was like, oh man,
he ain't changing. Nah. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, episode 40 Ain't Gonna Hurt Nobody podcast. Thanks for rocking with us.
Yeah, peace out.
We out.